In this lesson, we will block in the anticipation to our heroine's counterattack. We'll now want her poses to be off frame from the villainess's extremes. This is so that we don't have mechanical timing when we smooth out the animation. So, let's go ahead and head over to frame 13, just before our villainess lands. And at this point, this is where the female hero will start to counterattack. So she's actually going to kind of step in and almost squash before she stretches to hop up and swing around for her attack to knock the villain down. So again, on 13, let's go in and grab all of the translation controls except for the right foot, which should remain planted. So that's the center of gravity, the arms. I'll actually go in and grab the right knee control. Grab the legs, and we should be good to go. So now at this point, again on 13, just going to go ahead and bring her over to the side and squash the knee. Then at that point, I'll go ahead and check things in the back view just to make sure she's moving in the right angle as she dodges the attack and gets ready for the counter. Okay, great. So at this point, we can go ahead and start to refine the pose further. Taking a look at the left foot, you can see how it definitely needs to be brought up. So I'll go ahead and just translate that up and start to rotate. And watch what's going to happen. You can see how the knee moves slightly. And that tends to lead to counter-keying work. If we need the knee to behave in a certain way, that means we'd have to not only rotate this control, but then counter-key with the knee control. So to prevent that from happening, what we can do is head over to frame 0. You can see the spacing between the leg control and the heel control. That was done from this heel offset control object. So to prevent that from happening, it's just a matter of selecting the heel and using transform to 0 to bring it back to the leg control, and then at that point on 0 we can always go in and bring the leg forward. Okay, great. So now watch, when we go back to 13 and start to rotate, you can see the knee no longer moves. Alright, so I'll start to adjust the ankle some, just orienting it in a way that reflects follow through. So that leg lifts up for our hop. You could also see that the right foot, right now that the ankle's pretty broken, so I'll go ahead and just rotate the foot control up a bit higher for a more natural looking ankle. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and start twisting her body. We'll grab the center of gravity control, and on 13 we'll start to twist towards the direction that she will attack in. Remember, keep in mind when the entire body needs to twist, we can go ahead and use the center of gravity control, but when it comes to the twisting we'd get in the torso, it's best to use the torso control objects. A great example of this would be a walk cycle. You wouldn't necessarily want to twist from your center of gravity in a walk, but instead from your hip and chest controls. And that makes polishing the animation go by a lot faster in the curve editor because you have less to clean up. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and have her start to lean in the direction that she's hopping in. But we still need to make sure she keeps her balance. I'll go ahead and translate her center of gravity over a bit more, screen right. For balance, great. And now we can start to tweak her sword arm. So that's going to now start swinging around. Let's go ahead and bring that over and rotate the blade so it's still pointed towards the floor. We'll rotate the wrists so we have a natural pose. And right now I am off frame. I'm on frame 14, no worries. I'll just go ahead and select all of her controls, key on that frame. Okay, making sure that that's been locked down. I'll now go in, delete 13, and slide the key over. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and tweak her right shoulder. That needs some work. So we could always start by resetting it. Might be easier to tweak that way. And then we can go in and just kind of rotate it up and back based off of the position of her arm. The elbow will want brought forward. Great. And we'll go ahead and make a very fine adjustment to her wrist just to fix its angle. It was a bit broken. Now the arm overall should be brought forward a bit more here, so I'll go ahead and do that as well. And at that point, I'd say we can go in and twist her torso a bit in that direction, the direction of her attack, and I'll also rotate it down to fix the line of action in the spine. So I say this pose is getting there. Just making some finer adjustments, bringing the sword arm forward a bit more, bringing the blade up, and I think that will work. And she is starting to open up so that she has enough power for this counterattack to be effective. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the left arm and start to bring that out a bit. And we'll fix the orientation of the wrist. And we'll also want to bring in the elbow. It's out way too much. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and take a look at the left shoulder. That will need to swing forward simply because we've brought the arm forward. And I'd like to tweak her head control so that she's still looking at the villainess. She kind of is, but I think we can go ahead and fix this pose a bit more. Just bringing the neck back and rotating the head slightly. Great. So there is the next pose. It's really coming together very well. All right, so we have one more pose to rough in for her anticipation. And that's going to happen a few frames after on frame 15. So let's go in and grab the center of gravity, her left leg, as well as the knee control. We'll grab the right knee. We're leaving the foot planted on her right side because she's still going to have that foot rest on the floor. And that will help timing-wise when we pose the next frame where she actually leaps off the floor for her attack. I'll grab the left arm controls. That should be everything. So let's now translate her over for her hop. So there is the stretch. On frame 13, we have the squash. I'll now check her back view, just making sure that she's hopping in the right direction. We might want to bring her over just slightly screen right on 15. Great. We'll now want her body to twist more, so let's go to the Z-axis and do that. Just kind of twist it over more to the side. I'll go to the chest control, we'll bring that up, and then we'll twist that slightly as well. The sword arm, that's going to now start swinging around even more, so let's go ahead and take care of that. Okay, great. It's looking good. I'll bring the arm up a bit higher for more power in her attack. She needs to be open some more, so we'll need to make sure we of a natural looking pose there. And I'll also bring in the right elbow a bit and tweak the shoulder. Just rotating that down some. Now for the left arm, we can go ahead and bring that out some more. So let's go ahead and translate that out. Fix the wrist. And I'll have the palm so that it's just about pointed down. Okay, great. So at this point, I'd like to open up this arm a bit more by pulling it over to her side, further away from her. And then we can go to the elbow and tweak that, just bringing that over around. Great. Let's make sure she's still looking at her target, so we'll go ahead and rotate her head down and do the same thing for her neck. So bring the neck down a bit more and then rotate the head up. Just about finished. Great. And how about her legs? They need some work. Let's go ahead and start with the left leg. We'll just need to spin the ankle around, and then we can go ahead and pull the leg back and adjust the knee to swing that around. Great. All right, so that just leaves the right foot. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So this will need to spin around, but we don't want to do that from our auxiliary foot controls, because it might be kind of annoying when we need to match all of the controls back together when it comes time for her to land. So instead, I'll just go ahead and tweak this from the main leg control, making sure that's on frame 15. I'll start to spin that around, and then I'll go ahead and adjust it in a way where it seems as if she's actually rotated from her toe. Great. Let's grab the knee control and spin that around. The right knee, that is. And there we have it. So take a look at that. We have now animated the anticipation to her counterattack. This is very exciting stuff. So by the next lesson, we are now ready to animate the strike.